What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Now, the WWE continues its habit of running WCW traditions into the ground, as seen by the 2019 edition of Starrcade. Join us now as we recap Starrcade 2019, examine the good, the bad and the downright ugly, and look at the news surrounding the event. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. Now, we won't recap these matches into too much detail, it's just going to be a quick rundown. But before the show started, there were a few dark matches. The first one being Seth Rollins vs Eric Rowan, as the Architect defeated Rowan with a curb stomp. There was also an Intercontinental Championship match between champion Shinsuke Nakamura with Sami Zayn vs The Miz. Shinsuke retained after hitting the Kinshasa on The Miz. The WWE Network portion then began. Ric Flair would be a guest on the Kevin Owens show, and Slick Rick recalled how he and Dusty created Starrcade, and how Flair and Harley Race battled in the main event. KO wants to let loose with a woo! But Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows interrupt. The Street Profits then show up and challenge them to a match, as it's now the OC versus the Street Profits. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins defeat Gallows and Anderson after Ford hit a frog splash on Anderson. The Street Profits celebrate their win with the Nature Boy. Next up, it's a Women's Tag Team Championship match as the Kabuki Warriors take on Sasha Banks and Bayley, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, and Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Kairi Sane and Asuka retain after Asuka applies the Asuka lock to Nikki and she taps. The Kabuki Warriors manage to retain. After that, it's supposed to be a last man standing match between Rusev and Bobby Lashley with Lana, but Lana cuts a promo and tells the fans Rusev is barred from the arena due to her protective order, and as a result, Bobby Lashley wins by forfeit. But things aren't over just yet as Kevin Owens shows up and challenges Lashley. It's now a last man standing match between these two. The two brawled and KO hits the stunner for an apparent win, only for Lana to interfere. But then Rusev runs in from the crowd and attacks Lashley and he wins by disqualification as the show ends on the WWE Network. But for those in attendance, it's now time for a few dark matches, one being Aleister Black vs Andrade, who's with Zelina Vega. Black hits a black mass and gets the Duke. Andrade is upset and wants a new opponent and he gets one, so then those two battle. But Ricochet defeats Andrade in a very short match. After that, it's Roman Reigns vs King Corbin. The big dog hits the spear on King Corbin and wins the bout. And the last match of the night is a steel cage match for the Universal Championship as the champion The Fiend takes on Braun Strowman. The Fiend continues his winning ways with a victory over the Monster Among Men by escaping through the cage door. But that was a quick recap of the event. Let's look at the good, the bad and the downright ugly. First, let's look at the good as number 1, giving the tag team division some time. And once again, the WWE Women's Division delivers, with arguably its 4 best teams competing over the Women's Tag Team Championship, a belt that deserves so much more and that seems to be finally getting some exposure thanks to the current champions, the Kabuki Warriors. While it looks like the WWE is pitting Charlotte and Becky against the champions in order to build an Asuka vs Becky program, the WWE should consider using the other regular teams in the Women's Division, such as the Iconics or Fire and Desire. Number 2, the WWE's promo pinch hitter. Granted, there's not that much good to say about this show other than the aforementioned match and the appearance here of wrestling legend Nature Boy Ric Flair. The 16-time World Heavyweight Champion can still be counted for a good, if not great, promo. It was good to hear Flair acknowledge Dusty Rhodes as the creator of Starrcade and send a shout out to the late great Harley Race. We'd be kind in giving this show a good moment when most of it was filler. And lastly, number 3, Rusev is still hugely over. Now, as bad as this whole angle with the Bulgarian Brute, Lana and Bobby Lashley is, Rusev is still crazy over as his attacks on Lashley still manage to get a number of cheers from the audience. Even when the WWE missed their opportunity with the Rusev Day gimmick, had him buried by a number of opponents, literally at one point by The Undertaker at the Greatest Royal Rumble, had a brief hiatus this year and given him this awful storyline, he is still so bloody over with the WWE Universe. Can WWE just put the belt on him already? But those were a few good points about the show. What about the bad? is number 1, bait and switch booking. The WWE has a serious problem selling tickets to live events, which makes its decision to announce Rusev vs Lashley in a last standing match was a good way to attract the fans, but its decision to swerve the fans with a forfeit ending was a bad way to do business. It's disappointing when a person spends their hard-earned money for tickets to a house show only to see something like this happen. Rumour has it the WWE doesn't want to do anything with Rusev and Lashley in the ring until TLC, so why even announce this match? Even worse, the WWE showed the fans watching at home that they can't count on the WWE to deliver promised matches even when the wrestlers are available to work. Number 2, broken down booking. It's good to see the WWE putting Aleister Black into matches after months of build-up, and while its decision to put him over Andrade was okay, having Ricochet defeat Andrade in just 2 minutes was plain bad booking. Andrade has been enjoying a lengthy win streak on television, but Black's quick win over Andrade weakened his status. And number 3, a bunch of boring bouts. The idea of network specials like Starrcade is to show the fans how much fun house shows can be. Last night's show didn't do this, and it was little more than another episode of Raw or SmackDown. Putting on a bunch of boring matches was no incentive for fans to want to see a live event or watch the next WWE television special. The WWE should have done something special last night, and it failed. Even the show's true main event featuring The Fiend was poor at best. The match lasted only a few minutes. Whilst there was no reason not to believe The Fiend wasn't going to win, it would have been great if he had shown his brutality by trying to end Braun Strowman, even if it was a dark match. But that was the good, the bad. What about the downright ugly? Now, while Starrcade is no longer a pay-per-view and more or less a glorified house show, the WWE should have put at least more effort into the event. In some respects, it's probably better that the network crashed, preventing more people from seeing a boring show. It may be understandable why the WWE didn't want to put The Fiend on the main show in order to keep him fresh, but the matches and segments shown were boring, and it gave the fans no reason to want to see other WWE events, whether they're on television or on the network. The WWE's network's crash is the latest example of how the WWE is a broken product living off its reputation. Its problems with the network date back to last summer, yet it's still having problems. It's incredible that a major business is run so poorly with a serious apathy towards its fans. As for Starrcade itself, it too exemplified the WWE's failure to make lasting changes. The WWE certainly knows it has problems with its storylines, yet continues putting on the same matches and uninspired angles. It also knows it has problems filling seats because of its lack of originality, yet they refuse to change. Let's move on to a bit of news, as Starrcade's attendance looked absolutely dreadful. Now, although we haven't heard any numbers on how many fans attended last night's show, the pictures online suggest there were many empty seats. Quite a disappointment for a show that was supposed to air on the WWE Network. Of course, if the WWE promotes more shows this poorly, the attendance will continue dropping unless the WWE randomly places $100 bills under seats. It's sad to see the once premier NWA/WCW show in its current state. Arenas used to be filled to the brim with matches like Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes headlining the show. Now look at it. It's awful. Moving on from Starrcade though, Booker T comments on the Mauro Ranallo/Corey Graves situation. During an episode of his radio show, the WWE Hall of Famer Booker T discussed the situation between Corey Graves and Mauro Ranallo, sharing his own experience with backstage shenanigans and the drawbacks of social media.
Big ups to, everything that you do, man, because I know how hard you work, and I don't know, it's just like me when back in the day, I hated getting ribbed. No one would rib me. And if they ribbed me, no one would ever tell me about whoever did it. Because I would always say, hey man, you can rib me if you want to, but if I find out who did it, you're going to be in a fight. Just letting you guys know. So don't play with me like that, because I'm not to be played with. Shout out to Mauro, man. Get yourself together, man. Get back on the horse. Get your ass back to work, bro.
As for Ranallo, Dave Meltzer reported on the Wrestling Observer Radio that Ranallo is doing better, and the WWE is keeping in touch with him. And the last bit of news for this video, the Sandman makes a sexist comment. The Wrestlecade Super Show was held on the weekend at the Convention Center in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and featured some former WWE superstars, the likes of James Ellsworth, Hornswoggle and ECW alumni Shane Douglas and the Sandman. They however weren't in the main event, as it was a women's four-way match between Taya Valkyrie, Rosemary, Su Yung and Jordynne Grace. However, one wrestler had a problem with that. According to Grace, backstage before the match, the Sandman approached her and told her that women main eventing wrestling shows is wrong and that any male wrestler with any sort of experience would agree. She tweeted, "Hey, remember that time the Sandman came up to 4 women about to main event to tell us that women main eventing is wrong and any male wrestler with any sort of experience would agree? Was this in 1998? No, it was tonight, December 2019. Other wrestlers came to the aid like Chris Jericho, who mentioned, "I don't agree." New Japan Pro Wrestling star Will Ospreay also chimed in and said, "Really? Most of the women wrestlers are pulling off more innovating and exciting stuff than ever before. Can't tell you the amount of times I go watch a Stardom match and I want to retire because their matches are insane. Let's not interfere with progress, everyone keep killing it." Now while Sandman is certainly entitled to his opinion, seriously? This is 2019 dude, not 1901. What are your thoughts on the Sandman's comments? Did you guys even watch Starrcade? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. As always, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.